When you think of American sandwiches, a few classics probably come to mind. The BLT, the grilled cheese, the turkey club. But America's history with bread and fillings goes much deeper and stranger than what you'll find at your local diner today. From the Depression-era days when peanut butter was paired with onions, to St. Louis saloons serving fried cow brain on a bun, to coastal towns stuffing crispy chow mein noodles into soft rolls, sandwiches have always been about survival, creativity, and comfort. Many of these quirky creations were once staples of school lunchboxes, mining camps, immigrant kitchens, and roadside diners. But over time they disappeared, replaced by fast food and standardized menus. In this video, we're digging into 30 sandwiches America forgot, recipes that reveal not just what people ate, but how they lived, struggled, and innovated between two slices of bread. Number 1. The Hot Brown, Kentucky. Born in the roaring 1920s inside Louisville's Brown Hotel, the Hot Brown wasn't a working man's lunch. It was a midnight indulgence. After long nights of dancing, guests were served this open-faced sandwich. Slices of roasted turkey layered on thick toast, covered in creamy Mornay sauce, topped with bacon strips, then broiled until golden and bubbling. It was rich, heavy, and unapologetically decadent. For decades it was Kentucky's pride, but outside the state, the Hot Brown slipped into obscurity. Today, it survives as a local delicacy, but few realize it was once hailed as the ultimate late-night cure. Number 2. The St. Paul Sandwich. At first bite, you'd swear this belonged in a Chinese takeout box, not between bread. The St. Paul sandwich takes an egg foo young patty, fluffy eggs with bean sprouts and onions, and tucks it into white sandwich bread with lettuce, pickles, and mayonnaise. Invented in St. Louis Chinese-American kitchens to appeal to Midwestern tastes, it became a local cult favorite. Cheap, filling, and portable, it never spread far beyond Missouri. But for those who grew up with it, the St. Paul remains a taste of home, part East, part Midwest, all comfort. Number 3. The Denver Sandwich. Before the Denver omelet hit breakfast menus, it was a sandwich. Miners and railroad workers in the 1800s packed diced ham, onions, and peppers into scrambled eggs, then slapped the mixture between slices of bread for an on-the-go meal. It was fast, sturdy, and easy to eat with dirty hands. Eventually, the filling jumped off the bread and onto the plate, evolving into the omelet we know today. The Denver sandwich faded into history, but it was once the fuel of frontier workers chasing gold and laying tracks. Number 4. The Chow Mein Sandwich. Imagine biting into a soft hamburger bun only to find it stuffed with crispy chow mein noodles swimming in brown gravy. That's the chow mein sandwich, a regional New England curiosity born in the early 20th century as Chinese-American cooks adapted their food for local tastes. It was salty, crunchy, messy, and strangely satisfying. A true East meets West invention. For decades, it was a drive-in staple from Rhode Island to Massachusetts. But today it survives mostly in whispers of nostalgia and a handful of stubborn diners. Number 5. The Gerber Sandwich. This isn't a baby food pun. It's one of St. Louis's proudest sandwich inventions. The Gerber starts with half a loaf of Italian bread, slathered in garlic butter, topped with ham and Provel or provolone cheese, then sprinkled with paprika before being broiled to bubbling perfection. Created in the 1970s at a neighborhood deli, it became a cult favorite across the city. Outside St. Louis, almost no one has heard of it. Locals still swear it's better than pizza. Number 6. The Fried Bologna Smiley Sandwich. Sometimes the simplest foods leave the strongest memories. In small southern towns, fried bologna was king. Thick slices were scored so they'd curl into a smile as they sizzled in cast iron. Served hot on white bread with mustard or mayonnaise, this was the working-class lunch of choice in mill towns and farmhouses. It was cheap, salty, and satisfying. Kids loved it. Adults depended on it. Today, you might find it at a county fair, but once, the fried bologna sandwich was the heart of Southern comfort. Number 7. The Olive Loaf Sandwich. If you grew up in the Midwest, chances are you've seen it. Pale lunch meat dotted with green olive slices, staring back from the deli counter. Olive loaf sandwiches were once a staple of school lunches and roadside diners, especially in the 1950s and 60s. The flavor was sharp, salty, and a little strange, bologna meets brine. For many, it was a taste of childhood. For others, it was a sandwich you traded away at recess. Either way, it's a forgotten slice of America's love affair with processed meat. Number 8. The peanut butter and bacon sandwich. Out of hardship came strange genius. During the Great Depression, when meat was scarce and peanut butter was cheap protein, families began pairing it with whatever scraps they had. Bacon was a rare treat, but when combined with peanut butter, it made a salty, smoky, protein-packed sandwich that stuck with you all day. It was survival food, disguised as comfort. Elvis later made a famous twist with bananas, but the humble peanut butter and bacon sandwich was feeding hungry Americans decades earlier. Number 9. The Luther Burger, Georgia. Legend has it this one came from Atlanta, though its origin is debated. The Luther Burger ditches the bun entirely and sandwiches a juicy hamburger patty between two glazed donuts. Sweet, salty, greasy, and over the top, it was said to be named after singer Luther Vandross. Whether true or not, it spread through southern fairs and backyard grills, shocking anyone who took a bite, then winning them over with its strange balance of sugar and fat. Once viral before viral existed, it's now more a legend than a menu item. Number 10. The pimento cheese sandwich. Pimento cheese is often called the caviar of the South. Tangy, creamy, and a little spicy. It's made from cheddar, mayonnaise, and diced pimentos. For decades, it was a standard sandwich filling across Georgia and the Carolinas, tucked into white bread or served on crackers at church socials. It became iconic at the Masters Golf Tournament, where thousands are sold every April. Yet outside the South, most Americans have never tasted it. A once-everywhere sandwich that faded into a regional specialty. Number 11. The bean sandwich. When money was tight, protein had to stretch. Enter the bean sandwich. Cold baked beans mashed between slices of bread, sometimes sweetened with molasses or spiked with onions. It wasn't glamorous, but it was filling, cheap, and gave families a way to feed children through the Depression. For many, this humble sandwich carried memories of survival. Proof of how creativity and necessity shaped the American table. Number 12. The bologna salad sandwich. A cross between a sandwich and a dare, bologna salad was a bright pink concoction of ground bologna, mayonnaise, and relish. Sometimes even Jell-O molds were involved. Spread onto white bread, it was the life of church potlucks and picnics in the 1950s. Kids either loved it or loathed it. By the 1980s, it was mostly gone, remembered only by Midwestern grandparents who once relied on it to feed a crowd on pennies. Number 13. The Sloppy Joe's forgotten cousin, the loose meat sandwich. Before Sloppy Joe's ruled cafeterias, Iowa diners served loose meat sandwiches. Seasoned ground beef crumbled into a bun with onions and mustard, but no sauce. Simple, messy, and hearty. It was the pride of roadside diners like Made Right. It never gained national fame, but for Iowans, it was the sandwich of first dates, late-night hangouts, and road trips. A hidden cousin of the Sloppy Joe, now nearly forgotten. Number 14. The Chip Chop Ham Sandwich. In Pittsburgh, Isley's Dairies sold a shaved deli meat called Chip Chop Ham, thinly sliced, fried, and piled onto bread with barbecue sauce. It was smoky, cheap, and utterly Pittsburgh. Families swore by it, and for decades it was the everyday sandwich of steelworkers and kids alike. Today, outside Western Pennsylvania, few even know it ever existed. Number 15. The Cucumber Tea Sandwich. Imported from British traditions, cucumber sandwiches were once a marker of elegance at high society gatherings in the late 1800s. Delicate slices of cucumber layered between buttered bread, crusts cut off, served at garden parties and parlors. For a time, they were the height of refinement. But as America democratized its tastes, the cucumber sandwich slipped into obscurity, replaced by heartier, messier, working-class fare. Number 16. The Brain Sandwich. This one isn't for the faint of heart. In the 19th century, German immigrants in St. Louis made use of every part of the cow, including the brain. Sliced, battered, and fried, cow brains were served hot on a bun with pickles and onions. It was once common at saloons and diners across the Midwest. Today, health scares and changing tastes pushed it almost completely off menus, But the brain sandwich remains a bizarre reminder of America's nose-to-tail past. Number 17. The pepper and egg sandwich. On Fridays during Lent, when meat was off the table, Chicago's Italian immigrants found comfort in simplicity. Scrambled eggs and sautéed green peppers stuffed into a fresh Italian roll became the go-to meatless meal. It was hot, filling, and cheap, a worker sandwich that fueled generations of factory shifts and neighborhood lunches. For decades, it was so common in Chicago you could order it anywhere. Outside the city, though, hardly anyone's heard of it. Number 18. The tomato sandwich. Few things scream Southern summer like a ripe tomato plucked from a garden. Slice it thick, sprinkle with salt and pepper. Lay it between 2 slices of mayonnaise-slathered white bread, and you had the perfect seasonal sandwich. Simple, juicy, and messy. This was a staple of farmhouses and porches across the South. It wasn't fancy, but it didn't need to be. Today, it survives in pockets of tradition, but to many, it feels like a relic of another, slower America. Number 19. The Coney Island chopped beef sandwich. Before hot dogs became the crown jewel of Coney Island, the boardwalk was famous for its chopped beef sandwiches. Minced beef, seasoned and grilled, served on a bun with onions and mustard. It was fast, cheap, and perfect for carnival crowds. For a brief moment, it was New York's street food of choice. But as hot dogs exploded in popularity, the chopped beef sandwich quietly disappeared into food history. Number 20. The chipped beef on toast. For millions of soldiers in World War II, this wasn't just food, it was survival. Creamed chipped beef ladled over toast was standard mess hall fare, cheap to make and easy to serve in bulk. Troops jokingly called it SOS, SH'd on a shingle, but for many veterans, it remained a nostalgic taste of brotherhood long after the war. Once common in diners and cafeterias, chipped beef on toast has nearly vanished, remembered mostly as a punchline from Army life. Number 21. The French fry sandwich. Pittsburgh loves its carbs. The Permane Brothers sandwich, stacked high with meat, coleslaw, and French fries inside the bread, is still famous. But its humbler cousin, the plain French fry sandwich, was once a common cheap lunch for mill workers and school kids alike. Fries stuffed between bread, drenched in ketchup or gravy, turned starch into sustenance. Today, it's more memory than meal, replaced by heartier fast food. Number 22. The sardine sandwich. In fishing towns from Maine to Oregon, the sardine sandwich was a fisherman's lunch. Fresh or canned sardines mashed with mustard or mayonnaise, served on rye or white bread, sometimes topped with onions or pickles. It was briny, oily, and full of protein, not glamorous, but practical. As the American palate drifted away from strong flavors, the sardine sandwich faded. For old-timers on the docks, though, it was the taste of the sea. Number 23. The ham salad sandwich. Take leftover ham, grind it up, mix with mayonnaise, relish, and maybe a touch of mustard. That was ham salad. Spread on white bread, it was the star of church picnics, school lunches, and roadside diners. It wasn't elegant, but it was beloved for generations. Today, it's hard to find outside family kitchens, quietly disappearing from the American table. Number 24. The scrapple sandwich. Scrapple, a fried loaf of pork scraps and cornmeal, is a dish born from thrift. Pennsylvania Dutch families would fry slices of it crisp and layer them into sandwiches, often with eggs or apple butter. To locals, it was comfort food. To outsiders, it was confusing at best. The scrapple sandwich remains a rare regional gem, tied to heritage and stubborn tradition. 25. The cabbage sandwich. German-Russian immigrants in Kansas and Nebraska brought with them the beirock, a soft roll stuffed with ground beef, cabbage, and onions. Portable and filling, it became the lunch of farmers and field workers. Known simply as the cabbage sandwich, it was a staple across the Great Plains. Today, it lingers in pockets of the Midwest, but few outside know its name or history. Number 26. The pineapple and mayonnaise sandwich. Strange? Absolutely. But in the South, especially during the 1950s, a quick sandwich of canned pineapple rings and mayonnaise on soft white bread was surprisingly popular. Sweet, tangy, creamy, it was considered refreshing on hot summer days. Church picnics and school lunches often feature them, But over time, changing tastes pushed this quirky combo into obscurity. Today, it survives mostly as a whispered memory of what Grandma used to eat. Number 27. The liverwurst sandwich. Liverwurst spread thick on rye bread, topped with onions and mustard. For many first and second generation German American families, this was a staple. Rich, earthy, and unapologetically strong in flavor, it was once a beloved deli sandwich. But as processed meats rose and bold flavors fell out of favor, the liverwurst sandwich all but disappeared. Today, you'll find it mostly in old school delis or at family tables that still honor old world traditions. Number 28. The peanut butter and onion sandwich. Yes, onion. During the Great Depression, Americans stretched cheap staples into meals however they could. A smear of peanut butter paired with raw onion slices became an unlikely but protein-packed sandwich. Sharp, pungent, and filling, it wasn't made for pleasure. It was made for survival. For those who grew up on it, the memory is powerful. For modern eaters, it's almost unthinkable. Number 29. The bologna and potato chip sandwich. This one was all about crunch. Bologna layered on white bread, smeared with mustard or mayo, then topped with a fistful of potato chips. Kids loved the texture, and busy parents loved how fast it came together. It was the ultimate after-school sandwich of the 1950s and 60s. Today it's been overshadowed by fast food, but some still secretly stack chips on their sandwiches for that nostalgic bite. Number 30. The egg and olive sandwich. Before tuna salad or chicken salad took over, the egg and olive sandwich was the go-to salad sandwich in American kitchens. Chopped hard-boiled eggs, mayonnaise, and green olives mixed together into a creamy, salty spread. Served at luncheons, tea parties, and school lunches, it was once a household standard. Over time, it was replaced by flashier fillings, leaving the egg and olive sandwich to fade into obscurity.